Here we are for part 2 of this week's Backpage Blues. This is the part of the show where we answer your questions. So firstly, thank you very much for getting them into us. And if you have any questions that you want answered, comment below this video and we will answer them next week. Still joined by Charlie the Hurricane from the Mail Online. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, mate.
He's getting very big time. I was at the parade with him the other day and people are asking him for selfies and asking him if he's the Hurricane. And he's sort of moving up in the world. I feel like I'm sitting next to George Clooney.
Mate, this is your fault. You begged people to take selfies with me.
I love it, but I feel like I've created a monster. I'm like Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah. I mean, it was quite fun. I mean, predictably, Sophie had like an absolute swarm around her.
And you got the odd kid.
Yeah, I got the stragglers. But,
guys, please, if you ever see Charlie on a tube in his hometown, anywhere,
definitely,
just please approach and please get a selfie. It will make my day, and I promise I will put every selfie up that I ever
I'm done. I'm done now.
No,
I'm
get
done
them
with
up.
selfies.
In fact, I'm going to try and put some of that on this clip.
Cheers.
Right, so let's start by answering your question. A very interesting one, actually, from Tafari. Tafari, thank you very much for your question. Tafari wants to know, the fact that Oscar is injured and not competing in the Copa America means that he will have a proper pre-season and proper rest. Yeah. Do we think that that will mean that his form for Chelsea is drastically improved?
Well, look, this guy has played football non-stop for like 3-4 years. You know, it's unbelievable the amount of football that he has played. Every single summer he's in a tournament. He's, you know, some of those campaigns, like possibly not this season, but since he's been at Chelsea, we've played so many games. Like we've played like 60, 65 games, 70 games per season.
And it's shown in his form. He's looked like he's needed a rest, hasn't he? So it's a very good question.
He's dropped off massively. I've said on the show before, and I know it's got quite a lot of comments, that I'm not convinced he'll actually be a Chelsea player next season. But having said that, you know,
this rest will do him good, though. There's no doubt.
I think he'll be a different player with this rest. And interestingly, Mourinho said with this rest, Oscar next season can be this season's Hazard, which is like a massive.
Imagine having two of them.
Yeah, well, exactly, a massive backing. So while I think he might be the odd man out if we sell someone, I'm very, very excited to see if he does stay what he's like after a proper rest, which he actually hasn't had since he signed for Chelsea.
Very good question, Tafari. Very perceptive. I agree that he, with a rest, could become a fantastically consistent player, which has been his issue over the season.
Definitely.
Nice work. Abdul Hafiz, Charlie, wants to know if there's any chance of us signing Pedro. He prefers the idea of signing Pedro to Sterling.
Yeah, which we've talked about before.
Yeah, I think the issue is the English thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously Sterling is going to set you back something mega, like 40, 50 million. Pedro less so. Pedro is a very, very good player. He's played for Barcelona for ages. He's not got as many chances this season. Obviously, you know, everyone knows about Messi, Suarez and Neymar, those three. I mean, obviously, you know, he's probably not getting in that team. Pedro to Chelsea isn't one we've reported too hard on the Mail Online. I think we have.
Have you heard something, Abdul Hafiz? Because I haven't heard this either. I mean, it's news that I'd be very interested in, particularly as the Sterling thing. I think it's looking like he's going to go to City. So if that doesn't come off,
I agree.
Pedro could be a great shout. So if you've heard something, will you comment and let us know? Because I actually haven't.
No, I mean it is one we've mentioned. We haven't reported him too strongly with Chelsea. Personally, what I'd see him as is a second choice to Griezmann. If we don't get Griezmann,
start thinking Pedro.
I think they're going to start going for Pedro.
You're like breaking stories, Abdul Hafiz. Yeah. Good work. You're like our man in the trenches, just feeding us stories.
Yeah, I like it. It takes some of the burden off me for once.
So you could see it. You could see it happening if a few other things don't go our way.
Look, I think Pedro will definitely be leaving Barcelona this summer, and he is a player that any top club would want at least in their squad.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I mean, we all know Cuadrado hasn't worked out so well, so it would be good to have. Although I did think he played quite well before he got injured against Sunderland.
Okay.
Sorry, mate. But you know, so Pedro would definitely be an interesting one. I mean, to bolster the squad, which we've lacked a bit of squad depth, especially since Schürrle left.
True.
Next question. Some guy named Mike.
He
doesn't specify. He's been trying to get on the Q&A for a while, so congratulations. He wants to know, Raw, what is your Chelsea goal of the season?
It's a great question. I think there's a few contenders, but I think the obvious winner is Andre Schürrle, first game of the season. In fact, perhaps our first goal of the season. I can't remember where it came in the fixture, but it was a wonderful goal, and I think Fabregas set the tone he set the bar for the standard that he was going to play at for the rest of the season with the odd blip. But that through ball was just a moment
It
where
was sublime.
There were some people, some Chelsea fans who were a bit anti-Fabregas, you know, that Gooner and all that sort of chat. And then he put that ball through, and everyone went, "No, he's all right." Actually, he wears a magic hat, the boy.
It'll do for me. And you know,
and the finish from Schürrle deserves a mention as well. It was wonderful.
If anyone tells you that Chelsea have been boring this season or played bad football,
play that goal.
Just get that on YouTube, because that was just like one of the best team goals I think we've ever scored.
Would you agree with that?
It would definitely be up there for me. Just to be a little bit different, I'm going to mention Oscar again, and I'm going to say that outrageous goal with the outside of his foot against QPR. I mean, it's a very special goal as well. I love scoring goals with QPR. Adios, by the way. I was right behind where he struck that, and honestly, it looked like it was hitting the corner flag, and it just bent in the net. It was one of the most special goals.
It was like that Roberto Carlos free kick. Do you remember that from when we were kids? Roberto Carlos hit a free kick that was going miles wide. Suddenly it's in the back of the net. Everyone's baffled.
Against France, yeah.
Yeah, no, they're two great shots.
Yeah.
Do you know what goal I remember over-celebrating, arguably?
What?
It was great. It was
celebrate any goal.
Well, I'd agree, but Chelsea send out letters to that effect, weirdly. Diego Costa's lob against Arsenal.
Oh yeah,
I loved that.
That was incredible.
I loved that. I was actually with a little mate of mine, a relative, a guy called Albie, who's an Arsenal fan.
Oh, good.
And I had him in the Chelsea end with us. And in fact, I'm going to put a picture up of this moment when this goal went in. Have a look. It's up now. Just celebrating that goal with him, I have never ever gone so crazy when we scored a goal. It was just such a great moment in my life. I will remember it forever. Cheers, Diego, for lobbing the keeper, and cheers, Albie, for making it so special for me.
I'm really pleased about that. Next one from Was CFC.
I know Was.
Yeah, Charlie.
Charlie.
Right? He wants to know. I mean, obviously we've both gone all over the country this season. The best away end of the season. So the best end where Chelsea fans have been at an away game.
The best away end. Was. A brilliant away end was QPR actually, but you missed that for one reason or another. I ended up sitting next to a friend of yours who told me why, which is not good form, dear friend. Aside from QPR, I'm going to have to say, I think, do you know why? Charlie Was. I think that my favourite end this season was Leicester away. I think there was a moment where there was a sudden realisation among all of the travelling support that Chelsea had won the league.
Yeah.
It suddenly dawned on us.
Yeah, it was a great
singing Fabregas' magic to Fabregas taking a corner. I think there was some injury going on. Fabregas was taking a corner directly in front of us, and we just caned him with his song. And it was a wonderful moment actually, and I knew we were going to win the league that night.
Yeah, definitely, that was a great night.
Wasser said Everton actually, which I think it needs mentioning as well.
Yeah.
That 6-3 game at Everton, that was a superb end, a very hostile end. From what I remember.
That was my favourite game of the season. That was the best thing about that game was Diego Costa coming of age. This is when you knew
definitely
this kid
and that Ramirez goal. I love that Ramirez goal.
This bloke is special.
He's one of us.
Yeah,
one of us.
definitely.
When he gave Seamus Coleman the V's from the own goal.
Fantastic.
Wonderful.
Yeah, no, people jumping all over.
Any other games? So we've had Everton, QPR, Leicester.
Weirdly enough, I mean Palace was very good. Weirdly enough, I'm going to say a game that we lost 3-0. It was only the other week.
Oh, of course.
West Brom away. It was my favourite defeat I've ever been to.
Yeah.
I think everyone else that was there would say the same. I know you would. People were going mental. The second half was the whole second half was just we've won. It's
just thunderous Chelsea support, wasn't it?
People were on each other's shoulders. Kids were going mental.
Jug and tug.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Everyone was there, and it was. I think all the media commented what an outrageous. Display of
and I think Mourinho, who's given us a lot of grief actually about our support, even he came over.
Yeah,
he
came over. That was really noticeable.
Support.
That was really noticeable. So that was a special
moment.
That was a special memory for me.
The away end.
Yeah, definitely.
Make sure you get to some away games, guys. They are the place to be. It's been really good this season. Really good atmosphere. So make sure you get to them if you haven't done it yet. And finally, a great question actually from Jacko Caban. He wants to know how much Fred Perry do you own?
Quite a lot.
You seem to have an immeasurable amount of Fred Perry garments.
Yeah,
it's impressive. It's a wonderful brand, a brand I hold very close to my heart as well.
You know what? I wore this top against West Brom, and people dug me out something chronic.
Really?
You know,
it's like sort of like a deck chair.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually called the deck chair collection. Would you believe?
Charlie the deck chair.
You lot wish you could pull this off.
You wear it well.
Yeah.
You wear it well.
The answer is lots. And I wear lots of it on this show. So if you're watching, Fred,
yeah, sponsorship.
Fred,
Fred, send us a few. I'm a size extra small.
Yeah, I'm not. Bung us a few freebies, Fred.
Guys, we have a couple more questions, but I'm being given a sign to wrap up. So I'm afraid that's all we've got time for this time. Please get your questions in and we will do our best to answer as many of them as we can next week. Comment below, and if you haven't subscribed, do it right now. Come on, you champions.